So last week we took a look at the Landspeeder, and although it's a fantastic model, could there have been anything LEGO could have done more to make it better? If you ask me, yes, there is a few things they could have done, and that's what this video is going to show off. Now I want to start by saying there is a lot more you could have done to this model, and this mods video will be a little bit different because I'm going to be suggesting mods and show off some of the mods that I've done to my model, as well as providing some instructions over at TommyCbrooks.com in case you wanted to do one of these mods yourself. I'm going to start off with the most simple mod I can think of, and that's simply getting it off of this stand. Now, as much as I like UCS stands, and they definitely have their charm to them, I really don't care about the plaque. And unless it's something like the Y-Wing where it puts it in a dynamic pose, I really don't see the point in putting it on some form of stand. But obviously the Landspeeder is one of those things that hovers, so doing this simple brick configuration can make your Landspeeder look like it's hovering on your desk or shelf. You can see that simply 4 LEGO clear stilts is enough to get the Landspeeder to balance and sit far enough off of the ground to make it look like it's hovering. I much prefer this look to the one on the giant stand, and although the other stand is good if you want to show off the minifigures, I'm sure someone can come up with other solutions for displaying minifigures with plaques. This also fixes the big issue I had with this stand rising off of the table, something you can even see in my review of the Landspeeder and I just never noticed, but something I can't unsee now that I've seen it. As for the next mod, it's a fairly big modification, which is why I'm calling it a suggested mod and not a simple mod on this list. One thing this mod video did is make me research the Landspeeder a hell of a lot. And discussing this research with the friends that I usually talk to about these mods videos, we all sat there and determined that the UCS Landspeeder has incorrect proportions. Now this could be for multiple reasons. LEGO could have got the reference for the CGI model as opposed to the in real life model, or maybe work off a toy or something along those lines. But from this picture we can see of the real prop used for the Landspeeder, you can see that on the LEGO model, the bonnet section is far too long. Now I don't particularly think this is a problem. Like I said in my review, I actually really like the proportions of the LEGO UCS Landspeeder, but a suggested mod could be tearing off the front end and making it slightly shorter. Now like I say, I'm not going to do this to my personal model as I don't particularly care and think the proportions look fine to me, but for those of you who do, it's definitely something I could suggest to go along with this. The third mod on this list is a quote-unquote to-scale version of Farm Boy Luke. If you've been around on the channel for a while now, you'll know that buildable figures have always interested me, building things like Giant Man, and now a full minifig scale version of the Statue of Liberty. You'd know I'm normally in the camp of making it look like a giant minifigure. But as this model isn't designed to be displayed with minifigures at all, I thought I would make a human proportioned figure, mainly inspired from the ones that you see around Miniland. Now this figure was worked on since the set was rumoured, and as soon as we saw pictures, I got to building. I worked out a rough scale from there, and getting some terrible scale advice from friends, I worked out that the model needed to be much smaller, did a refined version when I had the model fully built, and now we have this. This version of Farm Boy Luke is to scale with this Landspeeder. Like I say, the main issue is the fact that the Landspeeder's proportions are slightly off with that elongated bonnet, and it would look much better if it was shorter, but like I say, this Farm Boy Luke is in scale with this Landspeeder, and they look great together, especially with the first mod on this list making that Landspeeder slightly hover. The Luke is mainly comprised of mixel joints, making this guy extremely posable, but I will say if you are thinking about building this for yourself, be careful when posing him as he is built for display. Unfortunately, just due to the sizing of this guy, there is a lot of one stud connections, but as you can see here, it is strong enough to survive a shake test. And being able to get a full range of motion out of this guy is still really cool and was vital to me making this figure. Each major joint has been designed with a mixel joint, meaning you can get a good range of motion out of it. However, be wary of these plates as these are designed to cover the mixel joints, limiting its motion slightly. And if I'm honest, I think the neck is the weakest part, as that is just a one stud connection, but this looks the best. Another thing that was very important to me was to give him some waist rotation, so you can get some dynamic poses out of him, as well as be able to separate him at the waist in case you wanted to display him inside the Landspeeder. One thing I said in my review of the Landspeeder, which if you haven't seen you should definitely check out, is that there wasn't enough legroom for a figure of this scale. And you know what? I was right. It's probably something you can fix if you were trying to majorly modify this and try and kind of rebuild the Landspeeder from the ground up, but if I'm honest, I've never really known anybody to want to do that to a LEGO set. Even my Bugle didn't really do much in terms of like rebuilding the entire model. So the good thing about this Luke model is that if you want to pose him in the Landspeeder holding the wheel, you can do that by just taking his legs clean off. This way he has enough space to fit inside of the Landspeeder, and so long as you're not looking down upon him, it looks really good. But as you can see, if we connect his legs back onto his body, that he has an accessory. And as you can see, that accessory is a lightsaber. Now, of course, this lightsaber is Luke or Anakin's lightsaber. I think the build turned out well considering it's this small. And the good thing is it's completely compatible with those buildable figure lightsabers, so if you wanted to put the blade in, you don't have to stack a load of studs up. They're slightly too long, but at the same time they look close enough for me to really like the way that this looks. This is definitely the most major mod I've done on this list, and if you wanted to build this for yourself, the link will be in the description below, where you can go to my website and get the instructions for yourself. That you can now log into, by the way, to make checkouts easier and find out when I'm releasing new instructions. Not only that, everything on my website at the moment has money off, so there's never been a better time to buy from TommyCbricks.com. Link is in the description if you guys want to check that out. And yes, before you ask, I am working on other figures like R2 and C3PO, they just weren't ready in time for this particular video. I want to make sure, like all of my models, that they are built and tested before I release instructions. I think it's very easy to just throw instructions out there and let the audience determine whether it's a good quality model, and I want to make sure with the things that I sell on my website, especially with the mods, that not only do they complement the original LEGO model and don't take it over, but that they're structurally sound and work in the hands of the audience. So if that sounds interesting to you, head over there and pick up those instructions. You even get another mod with those instructions that's coming up later in this video. As for now, we're going to do another one of those simple ones that you can do to your Landspeeder, which is simply just putting some clear dishes on the back. One thing I was pretty surprised to see is the fact that there's zero engine detail in the thruster department. So simply just adding these clear dish pieces shows that it could be moving. This look significantly improves the back of the Landspeeder, and I think if you had this on some sort of rotating turntable, this is definitely a must mod, considering how simple it actually is. And the last mod on this list is to go with that Luke Skywalker that I bought, but it's also to go on the Landspeeder. A very nice simple mod to do is build Luke's gun that attaches to the side of the Landspeeder. Now his gun is incredibly long and incredibly inconvenient, I would say, but another mod suggested by one of my friends was to do a brick-built version in the same scale that could be attached to the Landspeeder. This is what that looks like, and it's designed obviously to fit in the hands of the Luke figure that I've bought, but also attached via this clip piece to the Landspeeder, and by turning this 1x1 trigger piece, you can clip onto the side of the Landspeeder and have the gun on its side, similar to how we see in the film. This gun or blaster is a perfect addition to the Landspeeder, and if you weren't planning on buying the Luke, I mean, it's pretty obvious how to build this gun from just looking at it on the video, but for those of you who are planning on adding Luke to this model, the instructions on how to build this gun is once again provided in those instructions. Again, I just think all of these mods look amazing on this Landspeeder and really complement this model and make it something fairly unique compared to other UCS Star Wars sets. If you like this style of figure, let me know what I should do as my next one. Like I said before, I've already got R2 and C3PO on the way. Let me know if I should do more. And if you haven't already, check out my review of the Landspeeder. It did incredibly poorly. And if you want to know my initial thoughts on this model, go ahead and click the video on screen now. I'll see you over there, and thanks for watching this video.